Okay, so Brittany Ferries has been going to Ireland since 1978, I think, once a week between Roscoff and Cork. We've completely changed our views 2 years ago regarding Ireland as a potential, because we started operating a route originally between Cork and Santander twice a week. And we've now moved it from Cork to Rosslare, from Santander to Bilbao, because we were slightly disappointing at the beginning with the volumes, and there was also an issue with security in Santander with the migrants. So today we're operating this service twice a week between Rosslare and Bilbao, and for the benefit of the committee, this potentially represents the capacity of 20,000 pieces of freight a year. I have to say that over the last few weeks, we've seen a surge in demand in that service, and it's very pleasing because we've gone from an average of 35 units per departure to now well over 60. Bearing in mind the capacity is up to 110. However, it's very pleasing to see that now the Irish and Spanish hauliers are starting to use that service that we opened up 2 years ago in preparation for Brexit and the issues with land bridge. Complementary to this, on the island France, with the same vessels that operate Rosslare-Bilbao, we will operate a Rosslare-Cherbourg service. That's an additional, of course, that comes in addition to Stena and Irish Ferries. And we also, in 2021, will deploy another ship between Cork and Roscoff in the name of the Armoric that will also provide some freight capacity. So in a nutshell, Brittany Ferries has gone from an historical one crossing a week passenger service with the Pont-Aven to, in 2021, 5 departures, but with much more freight capacity. And if my math are correct, this can provide up to the equivalent of 30,000 freight units out of Ireland directly to France or to Spain. So I would say, as a company, and as my colleagues in the FDS or Stena or Irish Ferries, I think we've all identified there was a business case, and also very important for Ireland to have these direct connections to the continent. I think Cobel Freight also has reinforced its capacity out of Ireland. I fully understand the nervousness because there will still be some requirement to go across the UK and the land bridge. However, I think the ferry industry has seriously developed capacity out of Ireland, and there is still room, like, for example, to Spain, like I say, we are now averaging 60, 65. There's still room to go to 100. And of course, we will all, I presume, watch very carefully January and February as things unfold and Brexit becomes a reality, to also adapt upward if the demand is there for more capacity. So that's what I would say at this stage regarding Brittany Ferries and our development of late out of Ireland. Well, the decision to, like I said in my statement earlier, the decision was because we wanted to go to Rosslare. We felt there was more potential after a few months of trial out of Cork. And but like I said also, when the time of Brexit materializes and we see exactly what level of demand is for Ireland, Spain, of course, there is a specific market to Cork. We decided, business is made of decision. We decided that we had to try Rosslare because we were quite frustrated with the low level. We were, like I say, having 30, 35 units per crossing. And now we've gone to 60 plus. I'm sure it's not only Rosslare. I'm sure it's to do also with the fact that the Irish logistics are preparing for the reality post-Brexit. We have an extremely great relationship with the Port of Cork, and like I said also earlier, we are doubling the capacity to Cork with the Armoric as of month of March, by which we will offer 2 crossings a week, Cork-Roscoff. Okay, the Armoric is more of a balanced vessel between passenger and freight, but indeed there are capacity, Cork-Roscoff, as of March, additional to the historical Pont-Aven-Col. So we're now moving away from Cork. We decided to Spain that it was wiser to try to build up the levels of traffic out of Rosslare, but we are doubling Cork, and we've been watching very closely the evolution of demand in the weeks following Brexit, and everything is possible. But let me reiterate, to Cork, there'll be 2 crossings a week.
Mathieu from Brittany Ferries.
Well, there is not much I can add to what Mr. Coffey said from the FDS. I would agree on every point. We didn't find any support on Brexit funds or anything like that, so I wouldn't add much. Listening to all the conversation, though, I was wondering to what extent the Republic of Ireland would consider securing the first few weeks of Brexit, and I'm referring to the continental routes, of course, by maybe putting in place a priority on some goods versus others, and to what extent it would be wise from the Republic of Ireland point of view maybe to be clear to identify which hauliers carry what type of goods, because I presume that it's much more of an issue if medicines or first necessity goods were to be late versus some other type of goods. And that's just an aside on the question, but I was just wondering whether the Republic of Ireland could work with hauliers like us, the FDS, Stena, Irish Ferries for that matter, to identify maybe priority lists. And that would be one way to mitigate the risk of shortage in the first few weeks. That's it. I know I'm addressing a different issue here, but...
Well,